my name is Tom Blythe, and I've never seen a Fast and Furious film somehow. F9 comes out on Thursday. It's currently Tuesday. So I have 3 days to watch all 9 currently released Fast and Furious films before that comes out. Why do I do this to myself? To prove that I'm not pussyfooting about, I'm going to book the tickets for this damn showing right now. I know, 5? That seems about right. I booked it. I booked it. I booked it. I'm gonna go see F9 at 5 on Thursday, which means that I need to get on this. So I'm gonna go watch F1 now. I'm gonna go watch The Fast and the Furious now. And I'll report back. Alright, let's talk The Fast and the Furious, the first entry in the Fast and Furious franchise, obviously. This feels like a very 2000s film. It's very orange and teal, and there's lots of kind of just quite, shiny people being all angry and shiny and bronze. And yeah, that's the movie. It's a very masculine movie, and I shouldn't be surprised. It's fucking Fast and Furious, but it is a very masculine movie. Everyone's, really angry, and there's lots of pent-up aggression and toxic masculinity all around. Although, the few women characters that there are do get some cool, driving, car stuff to do a lot of the time. So, good on them, I guess. As a complete side note, pretty much everyone in the film is a complete piece of shit, but we love them for that, so it's fine. The car stuff is a lot of fun to watch. I really like, seeing them go under the big rigs and stuff, and it's fun. It's a fun time to watch. Although, the third act, the last kind of big showdown, it's kind of underwhelming. It's just kind of an extended drag race. There's not that much going on, especially compared to just some of the other stuff in the film. It ends with kind of some spectacular car crashes where you're like, whoa, and his car does the wheelie thing. It's like, whoa, that is the thing that the Lego set that I've seen does. Whoa, but it's not compared to the big rig sequence earlier in the film. It's like, oh, this isn't that amazing. This is just another drag race. But it is still fun. It is still a really fun time, to finish it all off, it was a fun time. It was a fun time. On to Too Fast, Too Furious. Alright, let's talk Too Fast, Too Furious. And I got a good while into this movie before, Googling and finding out that Vin Diesel wasn't in it, and that made me sad. I just wanted to see my boy Vinny D. I wanted to see Dom Toretto. What else am I here for? Although, despite the fact that this movie doesn't have Vin Diesel, I preferred it to the first. I think it's a more fun film. It has a lot more going for it. It opens with this really cool race scene, and they're jumping over this bridge, and it's super fun and cool, and it looks neat and cool, and a woman comes second and beats a bunch of men, and that's neat and cool. It's just fun. It's a fun movie. I really like this. This movie has gadgets. It has this electric kind of grappling hook thing that they bung onto the cars, and then the cars go buzz and they stop. And then it has ejector seats and shit. And it's fun. The movie ends with them driving real fast and doing the jump that they did earlier in the movie, but they jump onto a fucking boat and crush the boat, and that's how they win. And that's super fucking. Do that more in movies. I'd be down for that. I will say that this movie is thankfully way less orange than the previous movie, but it's still super saturated and nice to look at. So cool. I like that, it still has color. I feel like that will change, but at the minute it's still colorful and nice. I would also say that between the first and this one, because I didn't mention it in the previous one, I really like what they do to kind of show speed, and especially when they fire off the nitro. It feels very Speed Racer, and I know this came out well before the Wachowskis did Speed Racer, but it feels very much like what they did in that movie, where it's just they're just lost in the speed, and everything just goes to like these blurs, and it's super artistic and neat, and I like it. Good job. Yeah, so overall, I preferred it to the first. I think it's a really fun time. Plot doesn't matter. I mean, it's fun. I really like the bit where all the cars come out. It's like, whoa, there's so many cars, because it's just a Fox and a car. It's just like, keep coming, and they get lost in the cars, and then they like swap places, and they swap places again. It's like, whoa, that's fun. Yeah, no, good movie. I mean, I'd say good movie. It's a good movie. Good, fun movie. Watch it if you want. Alright, on to The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. So, The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. This movie is a fun time. Being drift based rather than kind of drag race based, it means that there's just more visual interest, because it's not just a straight line. It's they're drifting around corners a lot, and drifting looks cool. It's a dynamic thing to put on film, and you can it's nice to look at. It's fun. It's a fun time. It's still very macho. Like the women characters do get some cool bits to do, but it's still obviously just a very male led franchise. Although, because we are now in Japan, most of the cast is Asian, which is good. Although it is still a white man who is the lead, and a white man who trounces all of the Japanese people at the Japanese style of street racing. So is that good or bad? Is he good or bad representative? Who fucking knows? The plot didn't really grab me. I didn't especially care for most of the characters. I was pretty much just like, I paid attention for the driving, because the driving was fun and cool and nicely shot, but the rest of it was like, this is whatever. Yeah, it's fine. I really liked seeing Dom at the end. That really got me jazzed. I was like, hell yeah, Dom's back for this little cameo. But it was fun to see him, and I liked that. I liked seeing him drive off. The next movie is Fast and Furious, the fourth one, the number 4. These movies are kind of named confusingly. So, Fast and Furious, the fourth one that has just the name Fast and Furious for reasons. This one is just a lot of fun across the board, to be honest. The car sequences are all just super fun. I really like the beginning car sequence with the petrol trucks. That is, really fun and dynamic and exciting, and, has lots of kind of fun just concepts going on with it. And the climax too, with all kind of the mine shafts and just the deserts, it's fun. It's fun. It's really fun to watch, and really dynamic. There's lots of cars. It's good job on the core part of your series. We are very much getting closer now to the kind of just complete balls to the wall action stuff I think you'd expect from the later entries in the series, or at least from what I know of the later entries in the series. So yeah, no, I'm really enjoying seeing this transition from just kind of standard street racing to just fun. Very happy to have Vin Diesel back after a little while away. I'm happy to have Dom Toretto back in the Fast and Furious series. I will say that in terms of the cinematography, the colours are a lot less saturated in this one than previous installments, which I feel might be the direction that the series takes, because that's just the way that blockbuster films especially have taken as a whole. But I can't say that that's true or not. But Yeah, well, I will have to see how that progresses going forward. I will keep track of it. The film as a whole, kind of plot wise, is very much a story about kind of getting revenge for your dead wife. And that does mean that, there's one less major female character, and on the whole, there's less cool moments for female characters, which is a shame, although it's still, very masculine. Like, it's Fast and Furious. What are you going to expect? So yeah, I don't begrudge that too much. Although I would like to see, more cool female moments. I like that they held back on just giving Vin Diesel a new love interest straight away, and kind of refrained on making Gal Gadot the new kind of just new love interest straight off the bat. Like, Dom was like, no, I'm not into you, and I don't want that. So good job, film. Good job not pulling, pretty much any other film franchise. I liked it. Fun time. On to Fast Five next. All right, Fast Five time. We are very much getting even closer to the just complete balls to the wall action stuff. Although I will say that perhaps the film felt a little lacking for me when it came to the action sequences, and maybe that's just because there wasn't quite enough of them in the car. There was quite a few foot chases, which was interesting for a Fast and Furious film. I feel like just one more car sequence in there somewhere, I feel like that would have kind of spruced it up a little bit more, and just brought up the energy just a tad. Um, for me personally. Although I will say that the action sequences that we do have are really fun and engaging. The opening train bit is super neat and cool. And then obviously the ending sequence with the Vault flying about everywhere is super fun to watch. There's no denying that is just really, really fucking entertaining. I do love a good heist movie, and this has a lot of, heist movie elements. You have, the building of a team, you have the putting together the plan, the whole rehearsing the thing. It's, tried and true, and it really works for this. I really like it. I really like kind of just a little bit of kind of genre mixing there. That was fun and neat. Also, this is the first of these movies to feature The Rock. Yeah, and he's always fun to see just pop up and do his thing, and boy howdy is he doing his thing. It's fun. It's fun across the board. I'm excited to see where the series goes in Fast 6, which I'm going to watch tomorrow. So, yay. Okay, so in F6, we have properly reached the balls to the wall action sequences that I'd expect from the Fast and Furious franchise. Pretty much every sequence in this film is very entertainingly done, and that's partly born out of the fact that there's just a lot of vehicles on display, from the flippy cars to tanks to big plane. It's all very fun and entertaining because it's all just so dynamic, and there's just a lot of stuff going on. And that's without mentioning really cool moments like the car bursting out of the exploding plane at the end. You can't help but, pump your fists at. It's such a cool moment. This movie has also finally hit the proper kind of family talk elements that you'd also expect from the Fast and Furious franchise. It's all about family now. The word family is getting brought up a lot. So, yeah, that's that for that. It's Fast 7 next. Fast 7 is a blast of a film. Literally, for a lot of it. There's so much carnage in this film, you can't help but enjoy it. The cars jumping and parachuting out of the plane is an incredibly exciting bit of action filmmaking. And it's not even like it's just that on its own is an action sequence like in something like Mission Impossible Fallout. The action sequence goes on for a long while after they've landed. And that's just the level that these, films are on. It's just kind of non-stop action, and that's exciting and fun to watch. The Rock continues to have some incredibly fun moments in this franchise, especially once he's, busted out of his hospital room. Like, him busting out of his cast is... It was a fucking great moment. Same with him, casually strolling down a street, firing a minigun. That's art. That's cinema, baby. It's cinema. It is wild that this film works and flows so well, knowing that, its secondary lead, Paul Walker, died midway through production, and they had to kind of massively rework the film to account for that. But it does work, and you don't really notice, other than him being kind of absent for a few of the sequences, or just kind of in the sidelines. But yeah, it doesn't really impact the film that much. It's more just kind of at the end when you're like, oh yeah, no, he died. Now I'm emotional because you're making me emotional about this. And that's kind of weird. I would have expected it to be a rougher watch because I would have expected it to be more disjointed and like, oh, he was clearly absent. But somehow they managed to avoid that. One's direction and the camera work as a whole is really dynamic and exciting. Everything is kind of constantly moving, and it's just very fun and engaging to look at as a result. There's always something going on. And that was Fast 7, it's, Fast 8 next. By now, the series is very much set in stone as to what it is. All the character developments are very, developed and, are a lot of fun to watch. I will say, though, that Dom's turn is convoluted. I think that it kind of goes against Dom's character a little bit for him to just not tell anyone. And when he has turned, when he has kind of done that betrayal, whilst it is for, decent reasons, he's so stone cold about it all that it feels quite out of character. Like, part of what makes Dom Dom is his humanity, and that kind of feels taken away in this film, and that's kind of weird. The action sequences continue to be balls to the wall fun times, as you'd expect. The big car sequence in New York in particular doesn't really make any sense, but it's super entertaining to watch, and I mean that's most of this series. So I also really like Jason Statham in this. I can really see why him and Dwayne Johnson got a spin-off. Like, their little moments of kind of just riffing on each other, they work. They're funny bickering moments, and I can see why they got a spin-off. They're fun. They're fun to watch. They're fun characters. Also, Jason Statham's fight scene with a baby, it's just wonderful. I also like that, they made sure to give the baby headphones. Like, that was cute. That was a cute little thing to be like, oh yeah, no, we're thinking about protecting like this child in this fucking carnage. So yeah, Fast 8 is kind of, it's a little bit of a mixed bag, but it's still a pretty fun time. Yeah, I have reservations, but it's fun. It's on to Hobbs and Shaw next. Alright, let's talk Hobbs and Shaw, the so far only spin-off film to be made, although they are planning on making probably a ton more. It's a broadly entertaining affair, although with some caveats. As I said in the last segment, I like Statham and Johnson's bickering dynamic, and I think it does carry the film to an extent. They both have great, comedic kind of sensibilities, and yeah, they just bounce off each other really, really well. I enjoy watching them bicker. It's fun. I was honestly surprised to see Ryan Reynolds show up in this film. And, they just let him do his thing, which is always entertaining, even though it does feel a little out of place here. It does feel like it's just from another movie transplanted into this, which is fine, but it did feel a bit out of place. I will say that Vanessa Kirby does not get enough to do comedically in this film, especially as she is essentially the third lead, and this is broadly an action comedy. All of the comedy is mostly relegated to the male roles. Helen Mirren does get some stuff to do, some, funny bits, but she's little more than a cameo, to be honest, so it's a bit of a shame that Vanessa Kirby doesn't really get that much to do. She is mostly just the straight man and just is there for kind of exposition mostly. There's this ominous voice thing controlling Idris Elba, and I thought for most of the movie that it'd be Charlize Theron because, well, it felt like they were setting that up. It felt like, oh, they've been talking about how, you know, like, the voice knows Hobbs and Shaw. They've had run-ins with them, and the only character that's had run-ins with, like, both Hobbs and Shaw in the past, other than, like, Dom, is, you know, Charlize Theron. So it would make sense. Yeah, it's just an ominous voice with lots of voice modulation that's sequel bait, and is, you know, so kind of ambiguous that they can just leave the casting to a later date. The action is, you know, pretty entertaining, and we get some nice Fast and Furiousing from at least two of the action sequences in the film. The, you know, car chain is a fun, really fun moment and really fits in with the franchise. Although, on the whole, it doesn't really feel too special. Also, overall, the film just really looks and feels really marvelly, and that's not just because there are, like, fucking superhumans in this film. That's also just because everything looks quite grey and flat. Which is a shame. Like, the rest of the films in the Fast and Furious, you know, franchise are mostly quite saturated and, like, have a lot of vibrance to them. But this isn't as much. This is very much just, oh, let's just, you know, put the stock lot on it and call it a day. Overall, it's fine. It's, you know, a watchable thing. If you like the Fast and Furious films, it's fun enough. Yeah, I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed watching Statham and Johnson bicker. Alright, it's time for me to go to the cinema and go see Fast 9. I'm gonna go do that now. I'm going right now. I'm going. But I gotta turn the camera off first though. Alright, it is time to watch Fast and the Furious 9 in the cinema. Oh, right, I am back from the cinema and I've just seen Fast 9. I mean, that's a lie. I got back from the cinema a couple of hours ago. I've been recording the previous reviews for the day. So, you know, I've been lying to you this entire time. But let's talk about what I thought of Fast 9. This is certainly a Fast and Furious film, but it is kind of oddly different in a lot of ways. This is, as you know, many of these films are fundamentally about family, but perhaps this one more so than previous ones because this is directly about the conflict between Dom and his brother. This movie contains a lot of flashbacking, mostly from Dom's adolescence, but also a bit of kind of Han's backstory. And that surprised me. That's not really something that the Fast franchise has done before. It's, you know, mostly just tell the story linearly, we're not going to do flashbacks. But there was a lot of flashbacking in this film. We start in a sequence in the 1980s, and that caught me off guard. The action is pretty dang good across the board. It's very much what you'd expect at this point. It's balls to the wall, it's fun, it's exciting, it's engaging. It's what you'd want. There's plenty of the exciting car stuff that you come for in these movies. Hell, they go to space in a car in this movie. We've reached peak Fast and Furious. I don't know where they can go from literal space. By now, the realism of these movies is far gone. And that is something they even joke about in this film. There's a bit where they, like, are questioning their own plot armor. And they're like, I think we're indestructible. Like, I got shot a lot. Like, there were bullet holes in my jacket and I'm fine. And that was one of my favourite moments of the film. That was a lot of fun. Like, I really like that little meta moment. Good job. Overall, it is just a lot of fun and is, you know, very Fast and Furious. If you like the Fast and Furious films, go watch Fast 9. Do that. It's out now. I assume. Alright, let's do a conclusion. What have I learned from this? That I like the Fast and Furious films. I don't know quite what there is to learn from these films. They're, you know, just exciting action films that you just turn your brain off for. And I enjoyed them. Um, Whether I'd recommend watching them all in 3 days, probably not. It's very doable. You know, it was a fun experience, and it meant that all of them were quite fresh in my mind. So I did kind of know what the fuck was going on. And honestly, part of my plan with Fast 9, like a year ago, and up until recently, was to just watch the first one, then go into 9 and try and work out what happened in between. I'm happy I didn't do that, because whilst I don't think you need to understand the previous movies to go into this, like, as I say, with the Fast franchise, like, the stories have never really made sense or mattered. So, you know, you can go into them fairly blind each time. But, you know, it's nice to go into them and be like, oh, I know these character dynamics. I know, you know, who Han is and why it's, you know, like, exciting that he's coming back. I know who these characters are. Yeah, so that was fun, and I liked doing it. I mean, there's a lot not to like, to be honest. There is a lot of kind of machismo and masculinity, which does lead to a lot of objectifying of women, which it's a lot of points, but you know, at least it's more sexed up than like something like the MCU, which is just completely sexless. So that's fun at least. I really enjoyed these films, and I'll probably go back and rewatch a good few of them in the future. But I don't know what my favorite was. I just enjoyed a lot of them. I struggle to pick favorites. I did really like Fast 4. That was a fun one. That was kind of a good turning point. I think Fast 6 was fun. So it was Fast 7. Fast 5 was fun. Fast 9 was fun. Fast 1 was fun. Too Fast, Too Furious was fun. Tokyo Drift was fun.